Good morning and welcome. It's good to see everybody here today. I'm excited about today. We've got a good group here in front that are ready to share a little bit about their time in Alaska, and so I want to get right to it. Just a couple of announcements. If you have your bulletins with you, that'll speed things along. The May Bible reading and prayer calendar is available out in the literature rack, so please check that out. Just a reminder, you can access that through our website, so pvmcok.org, so check it out there. Also, the elders are recommending Mickey and Bonnie Vanderwerk for membership here at Pleasant View. We will anticipate that happening not next Sunday, but the following Sunday, so May 14th, which is Mother's Day. So you can be thinking about that. Also, CEC, today is kind of their last day for a survey. They were asking for your input regarding Wednesday nights. And so if you have not filled out a CEC survey yet, you still have time to do it, but it needs to be in today. Again, you can go to our website, fill it out online, and that way they can get your responses. Vernon had his 101st birthday, right? And so we're excited for him for that yesterday. That's quite a mile marker. We want to remember the Schweitzers as they are still grieving the loss of their sister Burnell back in Virginia. I think their plans are to come back tomorrow. And we've got some women that are traveling back from Branson today, so we'll keep them in our prayers. I have one other announcement. Where's Jay? Is there anybody else? Jay, come on down.
As most of you know, there were tornadoes a week ago Wednesday. We are working an area at Cole, Oklahoma, which is about 15 miles southwest of Norman. This is the area where a couple people lost their lives. So on Tuesday, Bill Mast and Michael Schlegel and a couple of the guys from Enid are going to go back down there. There's been a lot of work done, but they're going to go back down and assess the area again for debris removal and maybe some demolition of mobile homes that were destroyed. So probably we may try to get some groups by this Saturday, but we'll just have to see what they come back with. But when we get geared up, probably we will need a couple skid steers. We do have extra grapples if you don't have a grapple for a skid steer. And maybe some dump trailers, because some of these people live fairly far off of the county road, and all the debris to be picked up has to be taken to the county road area. So we'll kind of keep you filled in on that. And Wes Miller's the contact person here, so I'll be working through him to help arrange with people that may want to help on that. Then yesterday we had the Oklahoma Relief Sale Committee meeting here. There will be some needs. As most of you know, or a lot of you know, the sale is in November, the first full weekend in November. And there are some needs there too. We need some help with the book nook. So it'd be arranging books on shelves and helping monitor that booth. And then we were also informed that the group that does brats and sauerkraut, we're looking for some help there also. So those are some of the needs for the sale. And we can always use more quilts.
Okay, anyone else? Well, we are entering into the graduation season, so we've got 2 grads this coming Saturday, and then I think we've got grads after that. So just be mindful during this time that there's a lot going on, and we want to give God the glory for all of it. Caden, if you will come and call us to worship.
Good morning, everyone. For call to worship, I've chosen to read Psalms 121. I'll look up to the mountains. Does my help come from here? My help comes from the Lord, who made heaven and earth. He will not let you stumble. The one who watches over you will not slumber. Indeed, he who watches over Israel never slumbers or sleeps. The Lord himself watches over you. The Lord stands beside you as your protective shade. The sun will not harm you by day, nor the moon at night. The Lord keeps you from all harm and watches over your life. The Lord keeps watch over you as you come and go, both now and forever. Okay, picture. that picture ready to go up? So this was actually right outside of our lodge where we met to do quiet time in the morning. Like this, probably the window 5 feet to the right when I read this that morning. And, I kept kind of thinking, as small as humbled as I feel, looking at these mountains, I mean, they're nothing compared to my Father who created them. The same God who created them created me. He never slumbers or sleeps, and he stands by my side, and he keeps me from all harm. And the slideshow that was playing as you come in, the song Highlands by Hillsong United was playing. I'm going to read some of those words to you. So I will praise you on the mountain, and I will praise you when the mountain is in my way. You're the summit where my feet are, so I will praise you in the valleys all the same. No less God within the shadows, no less faithful when the night leads me astray. You're the heaven where my heart is, and the highlands and the heartache all the same. Oh, how far beneath your glory does your kindness extend the path, from where your feet rest on the sunrise to where you sweep the sinners past. Oh, how fast would you come running, if just to shadow me through the night, trace my steps through all my failure, and walk me out to the other side. So I invite you just to rest in those words and know that God is here with us and won't let any harm come to you.
may come and fear will leave. You lead my heart to victory. You are my strength, and you always will be. I see the evidence of your goodness all over my life, all over my life. I see your promises in fulfillment all over my life, all over my life. See the cross, the empty grave, the evidence is endless. All my sin rolled away because of you, oh Jesus. See the cross, the empty grave, the evidence is endless. All my sin rolled away because of you, oh Jesus. Oh, I see the evidence of your goodness all over my life, all over my life. I see your promises in fulfillment all over my life, all over my life. I see the evidence of your goodness all over my life, all over my life. I see your promises in fulfillment all over my life, all over my life. Why should I fear? The evidence is here. Why should I fear? Oh, the evidence is here. You may be seated.
So we got to go serve at Victory Bible Camp in Glacier View, Alaska, for a week, doing things like working in the kitchen and cleaning up after a big women's conference that they had there, and then doing various jobs to help them get ready for the summer camps. See, we're pretty far up there. It was about 90-something miles up the highway from Anchorage. It was about a 2-hour trip. Left out Friday evening, already having a good time on the plane ride up. Stopped in Seattle, got delayed, so that was great, but having a good time either way. That was in the train in Seattle. Like we were already kind of bonding as a group. Tried to see how many times we could go around the loop on the train before they realized we were just going in circles. And Ben, one of the guys at the camp, picked us up at 2:30 in the morning in Anchorage, and took this van 2 hours or so to the camp. Kind of alarmed when I saw Ben using his phone for a speedometer, because none of his gauges worked. And it was really dark, so you couldn't really see anything on the way there, but I remember thinking, other than Monica, none of them have any idea what they're not seeing out the windows right now. All the mountains and stuff.
So we got there that night, and it's about 3, 4 in the morning when we get to the cabin. And we get out of the car, and it's about 8 or 9 degrees. So, like, well, let's grab our stuff and let's hurry into the cabin. We get in the cabin, it's about 8 or 9 degrees. I guess there was some miscommunication, and the heater did not get turned on in time. So it was a little chilly that first night. So we all bundled up real quick and slept about like that. We got about, 2 hours of sleep, and then, well, then we, got out, and it was dark when we got there, but as soon as we walked out of the cabin, and you see that for the first time, it was like, wow. You didn't get to see it in the dark, so. And then, that is on the right, how do you use the pointer again? That is the lodge where we ate like our breakfast and stuff like that, and then that's the bathhouse. And then next slide. Those are the 2 cabins, and that horse is staying back there. We were at ranch camp, and then that's inside the lodge where we all kind of stayed and gathered. They brought us breakfast that morning, and since we got in kind of late, stayed there. Just more pictures of the lodge there.
That was in the main cafeteria that they had. So we were serving about 250 people every meal. Did several meals that way, washing dishes, putting the plates out, putting them back in, everything. So that was actually pretty enjoyable once we learned how to do everything. They trained us up all morning on Saturday, and then by lunchtime we were doing all the work. Well, not all the work, but. Then we also got to do get a first taste of exploring around, enjoying the snow and the scenery. And there was about 4 moose that would hang around the horse area and eat their food. So we were out checking them out. And Dakota having a little photo shoot with the moose. And every once in a while when we were driving, we would get behind a moose and
Then after we got done with our work and kind of got settled in that night, we were able to go tubing down so they had like a hill, and they had tubes you could go down, and it like took you onto the frozen lake, and it was a lot of fun. You got some speed going, and you go all across the lake. It was a lot of fun. I think Dakota was trying to track his speed going down the hill, and he got like 38 miles an hour or something like that. So I was like, good.
I don't know how to run that thing. Okay, so Sunday morning, we started off with quiet time, just in our cabins. We all kind of just brought our own devotionals and kind of looked over those. And then we went to breakfast, and then, we had to serve that group that was there. And then we ate, and then we cleaned everything up. And then we got to go to church. I don't know how to run the clicker. So we went to Glacier View Bible Church. It was a very small church. It was mainly all the people that were associated with the camp that were there. And the service that they had, they went over 1 Peter 3, 8 through 22, so we thought we'd read that to you. Finally, all of you should be one mind. Sympathize with each other. Love each other as brothers and sisters. Be tender-hearted and keep a humble attitude. Don't repay evil for evil. Don't retaliate with insults and keep a humble attitude. I just messed that up. Don't retaliate with insults when people insult you. Instead, pay them back with a blessing. This is what God has called you to do, and he will grant you with his blessing. For the scriptures say, if you want to enjoy life and see many happy days, keep your tongue from speaking evil and your lips from telling lies. Turn away from evil and do good. Search for peace and work to maintain it. For the eyes of the Lord watch over those who do right, and his ears are open to their prayers. But the Lord turns his face against those who do evil.
Now who will want to harm you if you are eager to do good? But even if you suffer for doing what is right, God will reward you for it. So don't worry or be afraid of their threats. Instead, you must worship Christ as Lord of your life. And if someone asks you about your hope as a believer, always be ready to explain it. But do this in a gentle and respectful way. Keep your concise clear. Then if people speak against you, they will be ashamed when they see what a good life you live because you belong to Christ. Remember, it is better to suffer for doing good, if that is what God wants, than to suffer for doing wrong. Christ suffered for our sins once for all time. He never sinned, but he died for sinners to bring you safely home to God. He suffered physical death, but he was raised to life in the Spirit.
So after we were at church, we went back and we did some lunch prep, and then had lunch, and then we got to go back to our cabins, and we changed and put all of our warm clothes on. And
So after that, we all parked, and we met the snow machines. They call them snow machines up there. And we went down to a ground. We walked down to a ground across the interstate or highway. And we got on the snow machines. They brought a little basket for us to all get in. And we got in there. And we went down this little trail. It was about 5 miles long along a river. After that, we were packed in there really tightly.
it's a lot bigger than it looks, but we were still packed in there.
So we went down the trails. There were some branches that got thrown in people's faces, that's for sure. Once we got there, we kind of walked around, explored the woods, had a couple snowball fights, buried a couple people.
They decided they wanted to dive into a bank.
Yeah,
That's Monica and Andrew.
there's him walking through the snow. It's very deep.
Trying to walk.
The snow is very fun to play in.
It is not like snow here. It's not wet and sticky like it is here. It's just very powdery.
Yeah. Made some pretty cool pictures. We had a lot of fun.
There's
So-
Micah venturing off.
We were so the river was in between some pretty big mountains, and so it was really pretty. There's a cabin that we saw in the woods. There were a couple of cabins just in random places. There's Harmony. There's Monica. We all took a picture in the snow. Quincy. And then there's our group picture. It was a lot of fun.
It was very cold.
So after we got done exploring, we came back to like the main camp, and they had dug out a fire pit. And it was really cool to see because a whole bunch of people from the camp, them and their families came, and we had hot dogs along the fire, and we had a little cobbler that they made from the fire. It was just really cool to see all the friends and families gathering around. And that was the fire pit. It was really big. And then after we got done eating, we got to ride snowmobiles back. Some people got to drive, and there were a couple incidents. But overall, it was really fun. And there are some views that we saw.
I think that was the base where we met back at. So then once we got back there, we all went back to our cabins and showered and kind of just finished off the evening. Talked about our highs and lows of the day and how much everybody loved that.
So our first stop on Monday was Kingdom Air Corps. We were shown most of the different aircrafts that they use to train missionary pilots. The aircrafts range from Cessna 150s to Cessna 170s, and there was even an Antonov AN-2 that was being used as a bunk room. Our guide shared his story on how God called him from Florida to Kingdom Air Corps, so a big change there. They never thought Alaska was where they would end up, but everywhere they turned, the signs were there, and so they answered God's call.
After the Air Corps, we went to Mannonite Glacier on a guided tour. Our tour guide was Melissa, who was the daughter of the VBC camp director. We rode out on sleds and ended up getting to see a cave in the ice. It was a lot darker than we would have expected, but that was because all the dirt was getting pushed out of the glacier as we were in it. Later in the tour, we went through an ice tunnel. We learned that the teal ice was pure glacier ice that hadn't been touched by oxygen, so you could tell which parts were the pure glacier. Throughout the whole tour, the snow was really smooth, and it looked like no one else had been there throughout it. There were a couple footprints, but other than that, it was like we were the first people there, and I found that really interesting. After that, we went and ate at Long Rifle Lodge, and then headed back to the camp for broomball.
Okay, so broomball, not sure where to start with this. And where do you even start? If you don't know what broomball is, I'm gonna try to explain. There's a stick about yay long, and it has a plastic wedge attached to the end. The rules are similar to hockey, except you hit a ball instead of a puck. You're also supposed to wear skates, but who actually wears skates on ice? Not us, that's for sure. I would also like to say I started our string of injuries that occurred throughout the week. While playing broomball, I acquired a grade 2 MCL sprain. I will say, however, that the impact of my injury has made such a difference and has shown me that you can't see the present blessings that are right in front of you if you are always looking for the future blessings that have not yet come. This trip impacted me beyond words. Not only did I come closer to this amazing youth group and our sponsors, but it allowed me to see what was truly in front of me the entire time: God in all of his true glory and grace and love. When something prevents you from doing the things you are comfortable with, it changes your mindset. I wanted to think about all the things I couldn't do with my injury, but I was called to think about the things I could do to serve. I wanted to serve how everybody else was serving. I wanted to do all the things they were doing. But that's not what was meant to happen, and I'm so glad that it didn't happen that way. A verse that really struck home for me after I got hurt was James 1:2-3. It reads, "Consider it pure joy, my brothers and sisters, whenever you face trials of many kinds, for you know the testing of your faith produces perseverance." Thank you.
So day 4 is Tuesday. We did a whole lot of cleaning. There's one of the places we cleaned. It's up by a camp, and the snow is all falling perfectly with the order of the roof. And there's Summer and Jacob were mopping. Hit it again. They were mopping a big old open room, and it was so cold in there. Whenever they were done mopping, it started to freeze and everything. Never seen that before. That was an experience. And and then we did some more cleaning after. Keep going. We did some more cleaning in the afternoon, and then cleaned most of the camp, I think, that day. And then we went to play broom ball after supper.
And broom ball was pretty fun. Like Micah said, it's kind of like hockey. And Micah also said she started the injuries. I was the second one injured. Got tooth knocked out. It's pretty interesting. Just got the videos. So here's me after it got knocked out, trying to stop all the blood. And here's a video. And it's a video of my tooth going back in, and there's a little bit of blood. Just a little bit. So after my tooth got put back in, we went to the dentist, which was like 2 hours, somewhere around 2 hours away. And whenever we got there, we went to the wrong hospital at first, and then we had to drive another like 10 minutes and got to the dentist. They put a fishing wire around my teeth to help the tooth stay back in place so it could heal. And I took a picture with the dentist and the musicorn. And then on the way back, we saw the Northern Lights, which was very awesome.
And then some of the verses about it is Psalms 19, 1-4. The heavens proclaim the glory of God. The skies display his craftsmanship. Day after day they continue to speak. Night after night they make him known. They speak without a word, sound or word. Their voice is never heard, yet their message has gone throughout the earth, and their words to all the world. God has made a home in the heavens for the sun.
Globe will sing a song.
This little light up. This morning, if you're able to stand, join us as we continue to worship this morning.
Oh, your mercy never fails me. All my days, I've been held in your hands. From the moment that I wake up until I lay my head, I will sing of the goodness of God. Of the goodness of God.
Okay, on day 5, we did a bunch of, we hauled a bunch of wood for them because they have a big, like 2 big wood boilers. I think they said they run through 120 quart a year. And so we went out to the wood piles and filled up a trailer full of wood. I think we did it like, 3 times, I think, 2 or 3 times. There's pictures of us throwing the wood in there, and that was not coordinated, by the way. So here we are stacking it in the woodshed, which is pretty close to the wood boiler, and so we just stacked it up on pallets. I think by the end of the week, that thing was pretty well completely full, I'm pretty sure, so you can go ahead and let me know what's going on there.
I think this is just one of the trips back when we were kind of just going back and forth from the wood stack to the woodshed. Here, this is when we're moving a bunch of windows. They're going to go to the Alpine camp, and they are, I think sometime this summer, they're going to have another group going to help them install them. So we're just moving them from one storage shed to the next. So this is, while they were still stacking wood, me and Dakota went up and we went with, what his name
Sure was Jeremy, maybe?
Maybe Jeremy.
I'm not really sure.
We went doing some trail maintenance. We loaded up on snowmobiles with pulling sleds behind. We had to dig the trees out of the snow, cut them up, and we were hauling them down to the wood stack so we could chop them up, and the next group can stack them in the woodshed. And that was a plane that was flying over. He said it was actually the camp director or CEO.
CFO or something.
CFO, something like that. And he was landing on the frozen lake, and he was just, we saw him take off and land a couple of times. So. There's a picture of us digging those trees out.
So yeah, the snow is like 3 foot deep, and so we dug them out with these tiny little shovels, and then cut the wood, and then de-limbed it, and then put it on the back of some sleds. So. There we go.
That's down off the mountain, down by the wood stack. And then that evening we went, and we didn't have much that evening. We just hung out in the lodge. We played a bunch of games, kind of more of a chill evening, safer evening. Yeah.
So our camp theme was everybody get hurt. See what we can do. So that day, me and Caden finished up a little bit earlier than everybody else. So we went back and found everybody, and so we thought it'd be a funny idea to prank Monica and say that I sprained my ankle. So until now, she does not know that I did not sprain my ankle up there, and I sprained it about twice. So you got pranked, Monica.
I don't believe him. On day 6 was our last work day. It was pretty cold. I saw -3 degrees on my phone. Since melting was right around the corner, though, even though it was -3 degrees, our task for the day was to clear off the snow off the surfaces. And there's a whole line of vehicles, and so we were supposed to clean most of the snow off of there, but then also get a path to the driver's door so they could easily get it out, and then also get a path for the front 2 tires to at least clear so that they could get them out and at least gun it to get out of the snow drifts. So we did that all morning, or most of us did. I think there was some that went, last day a lot of us went here and there and everywhere. My job in the mornings after the first real injury, I guess, was to take care of the injured people, and then I got to join the work crews. But it was also, I know Micah shared about how it was a blessing in disguise, and no, we wouldn't choose that, but for me, it was cool to see how she and Quincy and Summer, one day, got creative and like, okay, how else can we help? So one day they did all the camp's laundry, so they went back to our ranch camp and did all the camp's laundry. I think they helped in the kitchen a lot too. So I think that was a blessing for me to see them just be resourceful and figure out how to still help and serve, even though they couldn't go shovel in the -3 degree weather. I also want to take this opportunity to thank you for the parents for entrusting Andrea and I to take your children. And I am glad that they're all in one piece now. We may have brought them back broken, but I do, just in general, I really thank you guys for letting us come on and bring them. It was I know we keep saying it was a great trip, but it really was. We didn't want to shovel. That was a long morning. And then we had to go out after lunch and kind of redo some of it. And so it wasn't fun, but we had laughs. There's a video somewhere of like throwing up a big chunk of snow and then batting it with our shovel. So, we made fun out of it. And I really appreciate that too. The last few days, we were able to go to the gift shop. I don't know if they're in there. I don't think they are. No, because that's video next. I don't know. Anyway, there was a camp gift shop there, and then they also had a coffee shop and a little seating area. So we were able to sit in there for the 2 days that we were there. And
Is that on the coffee shop picture?
I think they are. Yeah, there we go. So here's some of the men that gave us jobs throughout the week. And so the one on the right, I was able to be with him, or like in his crew, the last 2 days. I didn't know this until his wife told me, but he was battling cancer, lung cancer, and he was out there working just as hard as us. But his testimony was so powerful of how, listen, we're just going through this life, and we're doing the best that we can, and his reliance on God and his trust in God was very memorable. Like in debrief that night, I think I went very long-winded and talked about it a lot, but it was just so amazing because he was always had a smile on his face. And so that was a big thing at camp too, is smile. You're serving, smile. And especially when we were serving the women's group, but also no matter what we're doing, just smile. And that was really great. When we were planning this, one of the group said, hey, listen, when you're up there, smile, remember? So it was really good. Some of my favorite things throughout the week were watching everybody experience an Alaska winter. I know whenever I lived up there, I heard, oh, how do you survive? But we all went up there and we all came back. You just wear a lot of layers. And I mean, even when we were shoveling, we took some layers off. So you figure out that it's a different kind of winter than what we would have at the -3 degrees. I also really enjoyed seeing the bonding that happened. And that continues to happen from that. I am grateful that these trips can provide that and continue to bond us as a group and to grow us as well. I felt God's presence every morning, that quiet time. It was sometimes hard because they would give us our day, like we would start breakfast at 8:30, so we'd have to like work backwards to decide when our quiet time was, and we tried to make it 30 minutes each day. It was hard some days, like the night that we took Quincy to the dentist. It was really hard to get up the next morning when we were out so late. But it struck me like we are watching the Northern Lights on the way home from the dentist. And then I'm gonna say, oh, I just don't really have time to wake up for quiet time. And so it was just really great to see how God convicted us and spoke to us in those quiet times too. His timeliness and like the traveling there, yes, we got delayed, but just how smoothly, because we were coming from 3 different places to pick up everybody and to get to the airport and then to travel, and then even the people who picked us up, and his timeliness was apparent throughout the whole trip, even on the way home and throughout the camp as well. The song that we just sang said he runs after us, but I also believe that he runs before us and prepares for us. And I feel like he was preparing for us for a long time to go up there, but also we got the feeling that he was preparing them for us as well. There had been some change in directors quite a bit over the past few years, and the director that was there, Mike, when we were there, he's in it for the long haul, and it's kicking back up, and they were just excited to have work groups again, and so he showed us a lot of his timeliness and his good timing, and when we have our eyes and ears open to that, we can see him working. During quiet time, I went through 2 different studies. We each kind of brought our own, as Summer said. And pretty much every morning he said the same, like God spoke to me in the same in each. So there's 2 different passages I want to read. The first is Psalm 63:1. O God, you are my God. Earnestly I seek you. My soul thirsts for you. My flesh faints for you, as in a dry and weary land where there is no water. And then 2 Peter 1:3. His divine power has granted to us all things that pertain to life and godliness, through the knowledge of him who called us to his own glory and excellence, by which he has granted to us his precious and very great promises, so that through them you may become partakers of the divine nature, having escaped from the corruption that is in the world because of sinful desire. And I've just seen, since we've been meeting as a one-mind group since then, just how on fire we all are, and how, we're a month out of this, and we're still just seeming right ahead, and I am very grateful that, and it's all Christ. So I think what's next is just a couple of videos to give you an idea of how deep the snow was. Yeah, and I apologize for the videos, they're a bit squashed.
Oh, that one didn't get turned.
That's fine. I think y'all noticed too, in the fire pit on Sunday night, it was made out of snow, the ring around. That's what we sat on the side.
Okay, and so that day, me and Caden went to go help the guy who drove us from from Anchorage to camp. he was moving into a new house, so we had to go help him. And the quickest way to get over there was going over the lake. So we were driving over the frozen lake that was about 24 inches. It was frozen 24 inches deep. And then, so that's the house that he was going for, that we were building on. So we had to, we were cutting a sheetrock out of the doorway so that he could replace the doors in there for that. Yeah. It's not going. And then in that evening, there was another work group there that was finishing up doing the wood that we didn't finish up the previous days. And so we met them and decided to play dodgeball with them in the evening. We had a very fun time doing that. They were from Virginia, and that was their last day there, so they came down and helped, and yeah, it was a fun time. It's not going, I know.
So I may or may not have been the fourth injury then, if Coda wasn't the fourth. Sprinting to the half-court line in dodgeball, then I pulled a hamstring. So I sat out the rest of the night and then got to take some pictures and some videos. So I sat by Quincy and Micah. And Summer won't tell you this, but one day she woke up and she was also out for the day, but she took it like a champ, and she also joined Quincy and Micah and helped around the camp as well. I don't know. They're working together.
Yep, there's Coda in his swimming trunks playing dodgeball. I don't think we put the video up that happened afterward, but. I saw God this week through the fact that everything was peaceful and quiet, and you could just like relax and take in what He has set out there for you to go enjoy and see everything and explore new things.
So day 7, which was the day we left, we started off with quiet time, and then we went and had breakfast.
Oh, so after we ate breakfast, they gave us the instruction to clean the cabins, just like we'd cleaned all the lodges that the guests had stayed in the last few days. And so we had to scrub everything top to bottom as if we were staying in a hotel. And so it was not that bad. I didn't mind it. The others did, though. Then we went and ate lunch. After that took pretty much all morning.
After lunch, we pretty much said bye to all of the people at camp that we had became really close with and everything.
There was definitely some tears, not for me, but. Then we left, and we saw an eagle, and Monica was screaming at us to look at it.
It was pretty cool.
It was. And then we went to a reindeer farm, which I so thoroughly enjoyed. Oh my gosh, slides, sorry. The camp.
It was also snowing really hard the day that we left.
Sorry, I got distracted. Oh, so the reindeer. I love a good fun fact, so I'll share a fun fact that they said. So Santa's reindeer are all pregnant females because the reindeer, the males, they lose their antlers right before Christmas, and so do the females unless they're pregnant so that they can have the most food, like I don't know. Does that make sense? Then we saw some baby reindeer, and they were just so cute and small. And they also had a like a grandpa reindeer who was like 14, who was like babysitting all of the young ones. He was funny.
We got to feed the baby reindeer.
Yeah. And there was a yak, and his name was Appa after the last airbender, if you know what that is. And a turkey.
2 turkeys.
2.
And there's a cooney pig, whatever, in the back. His name was Brutus, and he loves food.
And some alpacas, and they actually sold their alpaca wool inside the gift shop, and it was snazzy.
This is at the ocean by the airport in Anchorage that we got to go and see. Wrong one. I've never been to the ocean before, so that was kind of cool to see that. And then, so you could see the airplanes going right over us. That was pretty cool to see. And then we got to go to Moose's Tooth, which is a pizza place. Correct me if I'm wrong. Those are your friends from Service Adventure, right? Okay. There was a bunch of random pizzas. So 3 examples of the pizzas that we got were mac and cheese pizza, Elf on the Shelf, and Firehouse.
And pepperoni.
And then after we ate there, we went to, we kind of went shopping. It didn't work very well because everything was closed. So we went to Walmart and did our tourist shopping there. And then after that, we went to the airport.
We celebrated Erin's birthday with a muffin.
Sang her happy birthday, I'm pretty sure. I can't remember. As you can see, we were very, very tired. Yeah, you can just go through those. What? So you can go through those. Okay. So that week was amazing, completely amazing. A verse that I had found during my quiet time was Psalms 13, 5-6. But I trust in your unfailing love. I will rejoice because you have rescued me. I will sing to the Lord because he is good to me. And going into camp, I didn't really know what to expect. And there was several people at camp that encouraged me to come back this summer, and I was like, no, I'll think about it, but I don't know. And then the Lord was calling me back, and I asked God for 3 signs, and he gave me 8 within the next 2 days. So I'm going back for the summer.
Be thou my victory won. May I reach heaven's joys, oh bright heaven's sun. Part of my own heart will ever be full, still be my vision, oh,
Let's pray. Dear God, thank you for this day, and thank you that we were able to join together and worship you, and thank you that we were able to share our time in Alaska. And I ask that you be with us this week, and I ask that your light shines through us, and I ask that you put your hand over us, Lord. Amen.
First of all, let's give these guys a round of applause. It's not always easy to get up and talk in front of people and especially sing, so I appreciate them doing that. I encourage them to even do the music by themselves, but they wanted to little reinforcement. So they picked all the songs this week, and the song we're going to close with is called Yet Not I, But Through Christ in Me. And I had never heard it until they sent it to me, and it has become one of my favorite songs now. So as we stand and sing this as a closing song, just kind of meditate on the words and let this be encouragement as we go this week.
What gift of grace is Jesus my Redeemer? There is no more for heaven now to give. He is my joy, my righteousness and freedom, my steadfast love, my deep and boundless peace. To this I hold, my hope is only Jesus, for my life is wholly bound to His. Oh, how strange and divine, I can sing all is mine, yet not I, but through Christ in me. The night is dark, but I am not forsaken. For by my side, the Savior, He will stay. I labor on in weakness and rejoicing, for in my need His power is displayed. To this I hold, my shepherd will defend me. Through the deepest valley He will lead. Oh, the night has been won, and I shall overcome, yet not I, but through Christ in me. The fate I dread, I know I am forgiven. The future sure, the price that has been paid. For Jesus bled and suffered for my pardon, and He was raised to overthrow the grave. To this I hold, my sin has been defeated. Jesus now and ever is my plea. Oh, the chains are released, I can sing, I am free, and
Thank you to the group for sharing with us once again, and be sure and grab them and ask them some more questions. So thank you guys. Have a blessed week.